In this course, we'll be learning how we can configure Oracle database in Docker. We are using Windows Docker desktop. So in this, we'll be learning installing and configuring the Docker desktop and getting the Oracle database image from Docker Hub, creating and running the container for the Oracle database, accessing the Oracle instance within the container using SQL command line interface, and how we can connect the Oracle instance running in the container from outside the container using any other tools. Database driver installation in Windows. Once the driver is installed, we can configure the DSN to connect to the hosted database in the container. So any application can connect to the Oracle instance in any server using this DSN. Let's start from Docker desktop installation. Now let's install a Docker desktop. I'm downloading it from the docker.com. Download Docker desktop. So Docker desktop for Mac and Windows. Just click on this, and here you can see we are installing it in the Windows, the download for Windows. So you have an exe file here, just download it. Once it's downloaded, then you can double click on the exe file, it get installed. Now almost completed installation, the download. Now we'll do the installation. You can right click onto this, or you can go to the folder where it's downloaded. Just click on this to start installation. So when you install this, it will install the Docker engine, Docker CLI command line interface, and Docker Compose, Notary, Kubernetes features, and credential helper. These are the features will be available when you install the Docker desktop. Now it's installed. Now configuration, we have to take this one, install required Windows components for WSL2, add shortcut to desktop. So now here there are two variants here. One is the WSL2 and the Hyper-V model. Earlier we have only Hyper-V model, that is actually provides the Linux VM as a backend Hyper-V model. Now they have WSL2. Windows has this feature now, WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux version 2. So this will help high performance, and it has a VM is directly integrated in the Windows. Even Microsoft has written the Linux kernel for this one. Let's keep this checkbox like this. It will take some of the configuration for WSL2. So we can choose any one of these, Hyper-V model or WSL2. So if you want to use WSL2, we have to install the proper distribution, like Linux distribution, like you have Ubuntu, CentOS, any other Linux distribution. We have to configure it if you want to use WSL2. Now let's work on the Hyper-V mode for this Docker desktop. So once it installed, we can see we can switch it back to WSL2 and Hyper-V model also. It is taking some time to install. Now it's installing after unpacking the required files. So now the installation is completed. Close this and you can just search for the Docker desktop here. So it got installed, just open it. So it's opening now. So you can see it in the system tray. When it started opening the Docker desktop. So here Docker desktop, you can see now the icon appearing now. So you can just open the dashboard. It's still open, starting the Docker. So this is starting with, you can see now, Linux containers WSL2 backend. It's enabled this as a backend now, WSL2. Opening the dashboard. So currently there is no images, no containers. It's newly installed Docker desktop. So now the Docker engine is starting. So now it gets started. Now I'll go to the settings, Docker desktop settings. Now you can see here in the general tab, you can see use the WSL2 based engine. So automatically this got selected. So because Windows 10 Professional, what I'm using, that supports WSL2. If the Windows doesn't support WSL2, it get not enabled here. So for this other configuration required, if you want to use this one, as I said, Linux distribution, you have to install for this. So now we'll go through the details here. What are those types here? So now if you go to the resources, you go to the advanced tab, you can see now here there is no definition for how much memory it's using, how much data data memory it wants. Those details are not there here because it takes dynamically from Windows system, unlike in the Hyper-V model. So you can see the difference when we switch it back to the Hyper-V model here. So these are the WSL integration. We have to integrate with particular WSL2 distribution. So here, then once it do the configuration there, installation of the Linux distribution, we can see the details here. So currently it's not there. So now let's switch it back to the Hyper-V model here. Just apply and restart the Docker desktop. So it's switching back. Once you switch it to the Hyper-V mode, so whatever the images are there in WSL2 or the containers, that will not be visible in this mode, Hyper-V mode. So now it's a Hyper-V mode. So if you go to the resources, you can see the advanced tab is having different structures here. Like you have to give manually or explicitly, you have to mention CPU usage, how much memory and swap memory and disk image size. So those things we have to define it for the Hyper-V model, but it's not dynamic. So in this case, we have to define everything, this one. So now file sharing, these details will be explicitly, we need a file sharing because it will, unlike in WSL2, and So it will have to explicitly share the files to the container to the Windows host system. So those are the details here. So net proxies, you have to enable the proxies and network. So these details are there compared to the WSL2. This is having different structure in the resources tab. So this one, the Docker engine, this is the daemon, Docker daemon. It will runs in the backend to all the functions. It will take care Docker engine. Experimental features they added because the developers can use it and give the feedback earlier before going to the actual release. So those things, and the Kubernetes, you can enable Kubernetes here and create a cluster. So if you want to use and run Kubernetes, we can enable Kubernetes and create a cluster here. So once it's done, this setup is done, and make sure and one more configuration, like Windows, in Windows you have to see the Hyper-V mode is active or not. So for that you have to go to the Windows features and Windows features. So you can turn it off and on in the Windows Hyper-V. It's already checked in. So you can see this one should be checked when we using the Hyper-V model, and Windows hypervisor. One more is there checkbox. So Windows hypervisor platform, that also you have to check that Windows hypervisor platform. This one also checked. So this one. So if it's not checked, you check it, and if it's not installed properly, it will install it and restart the system. So then you are okay to go ahead to create a container in this Docker desktop. So also one more thing you have to check, any virtualization. So you can go to virtualization enabled or not in this system. So you can do this in the BIOS setup, not here in the when you open the system. So if you go to that performance, you can see here in the virtualization tab enabled. So this should be enabled for this one. If it's by default, it will be enabled. So these are the things you have to check when you are using your Docker desktop. So now you are good to go, and you can have multiple images, Windows images or the Linux images. You can pull it from the Docker Hub or whoever providing the specific vendors from that thing. And also here, if you go to this Docker, we have two versions, Windows container and the Linux container. So currently it's a Linux container. Most of the softwares will be Linux environment. So suppose it supports Windows, then you can switch it to Windows containers here. So you can switch it back to Windows containers. So switch to Windows containers. If you switch it back to Windows container, what happens? That time also, whatever the images, containers particular to the Linux container will not be visible in the Windows container. Whatever the Linux container having, that is not visible in the Windows container. So this is the Windows container. If you open the dashboard here, so currently it's running in Windows container. So now no images are there. If the images are there in the Linux, it will not be visible here. So let's switch it back to the Linux container again. Switch it back to the Linux container. Okay. Okay, now it's switched back to the Linux container. So this is the basic things we need to pull the image, required image, and run the container. So now let's see how we can get the Oracle Enterprise image and how to run the database in the Docker desktop. Now we will pull the Oracle Database Enterprise Edition image from the Docker Hub. So currently there are no images here. So to do that, we will use the Windows PowerShell. So here using this you can pull the image, push the image, and find the logs, and those are the options available if you type the docker command here. So you can see now what are the commands you can use it here. So these are the commands you can see now, all the commands: login, logout, pull, push, rename, restart. Those commands are there, you can utilize these commands here. So now I will try to pull the image from the Docker Hub for this Oracle database. So docker pull, then the path of the Oracle database in Docker Hub, Oracle, then database enterprise, database enterprise, and specific tag, the version here. You can give the latest or specific tag to fetch the desired version, database version. Now I am pulling this. So it's giving some error here. So here Docker login, it's denied because we not logged into the Docker, because it needed authentication to get this image. Now if you don't have the Docker login, Docker Hub, you have to go to the dockerhub.com and create a login for that. So now I'll log in Docker. So it's asking username and KP tag, then the password. Okay, now it's logged in. Here login succeeded. Let's this red mark because of the extra character here. So now I will pull the image. It takes some time here, it's more than 2-3 GB. Now it's almost completing the download. Okay, downloaded, now extracting. Now the image download is completed. Now you can see the image in the Docker dashboard. So you can see now images. Now it got the image ID. Okay, the size of the image. So the tag what we use 12.2.0.1. Now this image we can use to create a container like running database instance, Oracle database instance. We'll see that in the next section. Now we will create the container from the image we downloaded for Oracle Database Enterprise. So to do that, we will use Windows PowerShell to run the command. We have a Docker run command with the option -d detached mode. The Docker engine runs in the background. It doesn't have any option for std in and std out. The -t interactive mode, the name of the container Oracle 12, then the image name, store Oracle, then database -enterprise, colon, the tag version 0.1. Now this will create a container ID, and it got created now. Let's open the desktop and go to this containers tab. You can see Oracle 12 instance created here. It's showing running. So it should take some time to load all the configuration file, and then it give a message the database is ready to use. It takes some time. If you go to the next one, this is the logs tab here. Go to the next one, inspect. So you can see the environment variables, mount points, and the ports. The ports 1521 we'll use to connect to this Oracle instance. And the right side, there is not bound. We are not binding any port, host port, to this container port here. So we can do the operation within the container for this Oracle instance. We can't connect this Oracle instance outside of the container. So we will see that in the next section, how we can connect it to Oracle instance from outside the container. So this is the stats here. It shows how much memory it's using, how much CPU utilization, everything it shows here in this tab. So let's go to the logs. It takes some time to load the database. It is loading now. Now database is ready for use. So you'll connect to this database. So how to connect within this container, how to do SQL operations on this container. Now for that we'll use docker exec command, and we'll enable the SQL CLI. So docker exec -t, then the instance Oracle 12 bash -c source /home/oracle/dot/bash/rc semicolon SQL plus then no log, and ends with double quotes. Now it is opening the SQL CLI. Now we can do the SQL operations here. So we'll and also before that we have to connect to the user. We have one default user for this instance, Oracle instance, that is a sys user, and it has a password default ora_doc_db1. O is caps in this. Now I'll connect that user. Before doing any operation, connect sys, then as sys db. Password is oradoc_db1. So now it's got connected. Now we can do the SQL operations under this. Let's check on a command, simple command, getting the users list. Select username from DBA_users. So it lists also the username. So these are the username it's listing out. You can see sys also there here. So now we can do any SQL operations using this SQL CLI now. So if you want to create any table, database table, so I have a script here. So I'll just run this script, create table employee ID, employee name, and the character. So that's, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So it's not copied. So I'll just copy it again and enter. So table got created now. So this way any operations we can perform it here. So if you check now, describe this table, describe table is employee. You can see this table got created, and we can see this one here. So now how to drop this table? So normal operation, drop table, then the table name, employee, table dropped. Now you run the same command, describe employee. So object does not exist. So this way we can do the SQL operations within the container. Now we will create one more container, and that should have the port mapped to the host. So for that the same command will work, but with the -p option, p in caps. Let's do that. Now I am exiting this command prompt, SQL CLI exit. So we exited, disconnected from the Oracle 12c Enterprise Edition. So now I'll just clearing the screen. So now I'll run the command, same command with the -p option. So what happens here, the 1.21 port, what is container hosted, that will be mapped to our host port. So that will be done by, allocated by the Docker. So now we'll do that. Docker run -d -it, then name of the container, Oracle 12c. I'll give this time -p in caps. It will allocate the port automatically by the Docker. Store /Oracle /database -enterprise, then the tag .2.0.1. So now we'll run this, and it Oracle 12c will create with the port map to the host. The random port will be assigned here. Now let's go to the container tab. So this is generated here. So you can see the port here. Go to the inspect and ports 1521 mapped to 49156. So when you are connecting to this Oracle 12c instance, you have to use this port from outside the container. Any other tool like SQL Developer tool, so you'll use the 149156 port here. So now this way we can get it, or one more command is there to get the port number. So that also you can use, like in the PowerShell, just type docker port, then the instance name 12c, then which 1521 /TCP, which one it's getting mapped. So now if you hit enter, you will get the result. So it's 49156. So you have to use this port to connect to this database. Now let's connect this one using our SQL Developer, this Oracle 12c instance. This one, as usual, in earlier case we have seen like how to connect within the container. Now we will see how to connect this one outside of the container. We will use this SQL Developer. Let's create one Oracle connection here. New connection. So give any name here. Connection 1. Username, will be using user sys is default user, and password is ORA doc underscore ORA doc underscore DB1, and save. We can save the password, and also role is you have to mention it as sysdba, then localhost, and the port is you have to use this port. It's mapped to 3849156. And the service name you have to get it from the database. So open this. So it takes some time to load, then we'll get the service name here. Now it's loaded properly. Now get the service name from here. So here for this port external host, so this one, this is the service name. So use this service name here with this is user. So try to test connectivity happens for this host or not. This actually the Oracle instance. So now it's success, you can see here. So this way you can connect it from the outside. Now just click on connect, it will create a connection here. So when you open this, you will have these tables, all the structure, you can see database, and also this SQL console is open. You can write any SQL queries here. Like earlier we seen, like we'll write the same thing here. Select username from DBA underscore users. Okay, now I'll run this. You can see sys user, sys system user. These are the users got. You can see the list of users here. This way, the same thing, whatever did within the container, we can do it outside of the container. The same way, we will create a table here. The same table, running it. Okay, employee table created. You can see this table here. Employee table got created. Employee ID, employee name, department. This way you can work outside of the container. So it's useful for developer, administrator to work with the good tool SQL developer. Easy to manage and operate on the database. How to create a new user? Earlier we have used sys user, that is come default with that Oracle instance. So now we will create a new user. So we can use the PowerShell and we can go to the SQL command prompt. So to do that, we'll use the docker command, docker exec -it Oracle instance bash -c source /home /oracle /.bash/rc semicolon SQL plus /no log and with double quotes. Now hit enter, it will open the SQL prompt. Now we can create a user. Before creating a user, you have to log in with the system or a sys user, else we don't have a authorization to create a user. So connect sys as sysdba, password ora doc_db1, connected. Now we have to create one session, that is Oracle script session, then alter session, set Oracle underscore script equal to true. Session altered. Now you can go ahead and create a user. Create user, then the username Ora user1 identified by, then the password identified by password. Ora pass1 is the password. Now user got created. Now grant all the permissions to this user. Grant all privileges. All privileges to Ora user 1. Now grant succeeded. Now this user, we can use it to connect to the Oracle instance. Now you can see this also. Now user got created. Select user name from DBA underscore users. So here you can see the user what we created now. That's Ora user 1. Now let's use this user to connect to the database. I'm creating a new connection again. So connection to, then the user is what we created, Ora user 1, then the password is Ora pass1, then the port 49156, 49156, service name was LDB dot local domain. We can now test it success. So this user is working. Now we can connect to database using this user. So this you can connect and it will establish here connection. So Ora pass1. So connection created here. So you can work on log into this user as well. So now if you want to change the password for this user, how to do this? There is an alter command. There is a create command. This is alter command. The same thing we can, I'll just use the same user to change the password for that. Alter same, I'll not clearing this. So now we are already in the SQL prompt. So alter user. So alter user, then the username you have to give here. So username is Ora user 1, then identified by, then give the new password given last time Ora pass1. Now Ora pass2. Now user altered. Now pass2 is changed now. Now I'll try to connect this connection again. Ora user 1, Ora pass1. So test. So invalid username and password because we changed the password now. Now I'll put 2 here. Test success. So this way we can change the password of the user. So any number of users you can create and grant all permissions. You can good to connect to the Oracle instance. Now we will set up ODBC driver for Oracle in Windows. Once you do this, it enables the application to access the data in the Oracle database through ODBC interface. To do that, we will download the required files from the Oracle site. So download from Oracle instant client. So open this one and check it's for Windows. We need a 64-bit. Open this one, and here we have so many packages are there. So we need to take a few of these packages: basic package, SDK package, and the ODBC package. These three packages we have to take it, and based on that we will configure the ODBC driver. So we'll download this all three zip files one by one. We'll create one folder, Oracle 12c, basic package done, and now I'll download SDK package. ODBC package. Now once it's download all the packages, so yeah, go to that path where it's downloaded. Oracle 12c, then here all the three packages are downloaded. Select all the three, then extract here. So you can see the new folder got created, so it extracted everything here. So on instaclient underscore 19 underscore 11. So now you can see all the required files are there to create a ODBC driver. Okay, now let's start the installation of the ODBC driver. Okay, before doing the installation, we need to set the environment variable. So particular to that path where the installation is there, for that we have to create a new environment, OCI underscore lib64. So you have to create that one now. So open the environment variable thing. So here I'm creating system variable new OCI underscore lib64. The path you have to give is this path, stack client, Oracle 12c. Okay. Okay, then after the environment variable, you need to update the path. Here path, system path, you can go here and update the path parameters here. So here you can add new. So same thing, I'll copy paste the path C Oracle 12c insta client, then this one. Okay. Okay, these two things should be set before installing the ODBC driver. So then now we go to that path, actually this path, whatever is the packages. Here there is a click on this one, double click on this one. So or you can use the administration mode. So once it's done, it will install this driver, this one. Right? How to check this? You go to the drivers tab in the ODBC thing, ODBC drivers. So you can see now Oracle in Insta client. It's installed now. This one 19_11. This name is taken. This name is taken. Oracle in Insta line. So this got created now. So anytime you can use this driver to connect to the Oracle database from the Windows applications, any applications running. So we can connect through ODBC connections like this. So earlier we can see here the DB2, all the other drivers are already there here. So when the system installs the database installs, so it will automatically create a driver for that. Now we created manually this Oracle client for this Oracle client. Now this is the setup how we create a Oracle driver in Windows. Next we will see how to configure the data source name using this driver. How any application running in Linux or Windows can connect to the Oracle instance which is hosted in other servers. So for that we should have the proper driver, which kind of driver you want to use, like ODBC driver, JDBC driver. Now in this case we have a ODBC driver, Oracle ODBC driver we installed in our system. So we using this driver we can connect to the database. Now how application will know which database details. So for that Oracle has provided a TNS names .ora file. So I created and kept it in the instant client folder, the TNS names.ora. I'll open this file here. So you can see now here TNS names.ora, which has a listener ORCL and ORCL local. So now here the port localhost is the host name where it's hosted. You can give the proper IP address, the port, the port of this container 49156. If it's different port you change it here, both the places, host name and the ORCL local domain, that is you can get it here, ORCL local domain, service name ORCL local domain, the same thing we added here. So now this TNS names.ora file is created. So if you have more than one database, copy this and again paste it and create one more with the different port, and the host depends on service name, you will add those details here. So after creating this name should be known to the system. So for that, which path it will searches this TNS names? By default, if you install the Oracle server, Oracle client, it should be Oracle home and a network, and under that admin it searches in that. If it's not there, we have put this TNS names.ora file in the instant client. Now for this we need to create one environment variable. So that is TNS_admin to know where is the TNS names.ora file for application to find the database details. Now I'll open the environment variables and let's create the TNS admin environment variable, TNS_admin. So the path is this folder containing the TNS names.ora. Okay. So now we have created a TNS names.configuration file. Then we have created an environment variable that is pointing to this configuration file. Now these are the configurations required to create a DSN, and that DSN can connect to the actual Oracle server. So that we will see in the next section. Now let's check where this driver got registered. Open the registry edit and you can find in the local machine softwares, go to ODBC here, ODBC, then ODBC inst.ini. So you can see now here Oracle in this one registered here. So you can see other database drivers also here. So when you click this right side, you'll have this driver. If you double click that, this is the driver Oracle, this path pointing to this path, and it is .dll file. Under this path we have this DLL file, so it's pointing to this one. So this way it got registered here. So you can export this registration and keep it. Again you can import this one here. So exporting this one, I'll exporting this one here, Aura connection 1. So save it in desktop. Now if I open it here, so this one got, we can export this connection details here. So this way we can check where it got registered. So once you uninstall this details will get deleted here from here. Suppose you don't want this driver in your system, you done with your work and you just want to remove this driver from this system. So for that you have to go to the installation path where we installed ODBC underscore install.exe. We have ODBC underscore uninstall. So click on this, right click onto this and run as administrator. Yes. So this will uninstall the ODBC driver we have created. So let's check that in the ODBC data sources the drivers are removed from this or not. Now you can see there is no driver available now. Also we can verify in the registry edit, the registry edit got removed for this or not. So go to this one. So ODBC is already selected here, ODBC drivers. So all other drivers are there, but the Oracle driver is got removed. So once it's done, then next step is you can remove all the environment variables and the path we updated. So one is OCI underscore lib, this one you can delete, and TNS underscore admin environment variable deleting, and the path we have updated the Insta client location. So go to the path here, path edit. So this one Oracle 12c, this one you can delete it. Okay, now everything is cleared. Now this completes the Oracle driver uninstallation.